Oh, I know one of the things I forgot to tell you. I guess I can tell you while people are listening is I like to be a good listener. I'm going to talk about listening, but when I'm doing this part of it all, I do try to I have a monitor over here and I'm looking at the chat here and I'm looking at the Facebook chat over there and on my phone. So my eyes are going to be everywhere.
No problem.
But I want you to know I am listening intently. It bothers me that I don't make eye, that I can't have full eye contact.
Yeah, I get it.
When I'm doing these things.
Is that a boiling cauldron to your right? I see steam coming.
Yes. I should probably move that, but I moved a humidifier up to here. And it's really made a nice difference with working between the dry eyes and the wood stove.
Yeah,
It's made a big difference. All right, so here we go. We're live on Facebook. I'm recording on here. We're doing all the things, and I can't think of a better way to spend my first working hour on Monday than with Allan Langer, who I met a few months ago and have been kind of obsessively following since. So before we get started, Allan, what I'd like to do is give a little digital marketing tip of the week. And it just so happened this morning that I was on Clubhouse. And if you guys are popping in now, I think we're gonna play a little bit. We're feeling a little playful today. And we're gonna hop over to Clubhouse after our talk and just hang out for 20 minutes, half hour or so, see if anybody shows up and continue the conversation. So certainly drop your questions into the chat. I was just saying my eyes will be everywhere because drop your questions into the chat on Zoom if you're here. Drop the questions on the Facebook Live if you're there. And if you want to really chat or ask some deeper questions, Allan and I will be on Clubhouse. We're going to hop over to Clubhouse at 10:30. And that is if I can figure out how to do it. My digital marketing. So last week we were talking about how to use frequently asked questions to create compelling and consistent content that answers all of the questions that people are having about what you do, right? There's I think it used to say 7 touches before anybody will even interact with you. I think last week in our group call, Allan, somebody said now it's 12 points. It's just so busy and so loud and just so crazy out there that how do you show up consistently? And one of the things that I had talked about when I was talking about using frequently asked questions to create your consistent content was to spend some time not talking and to just listen. And if you listen to questions when you're in conversation with business people, your family, your friends, maybe you're in a networking call, listen to the questions people are asking, listen to the conversations they're asking, maybe about you, but maybe not, but just listen. So here's a quote that I found this morning. I'm actually going to just go ahead and show my screen because it's a good one. I was on Clubhouse this morning listening to Camille Dangerfield talking about affirmations. And she happened to do a whole piece on listening. And it really struck me. And I went and looked up this quote, right? And I love the idea that it says generous listening is powered by curiosity. And I invite anybody who's listening to this or anyone in the Rise Above Noise group, anybody I work with, to really become very, very curious, beginner's mind curious about the world around you and the people around you, and to really listen in to the answers to your curiosity and to the conversations that people are having behind you. Because ultimately your person wants to know that you're human and that you've been listening, that you're not just cranking out content to just crank out content. Although, right, with strategies, sometimes you do that. Sometimes you create a whole month's worth of posts just to get them out there, but also showing up as human, as a curious human and a listening human would be my digital marketing tip of the week.
Love that.
I do too. I loved that. And I loved that it started my week that way. And then I was able to tie it in somehow. All right, so now Rise Above Noise interview. It's not a cauldron, it's a humidifier. If you missed that part, I'm going to move that back there so none of you think I'm doing some witchy stuff over there, which that would be fine too, but I'm not. All right, my friend Allan Langer is a best-selling author, a sales trainer, a keynote speaker, and a marketing expert. with close to 3 decades experience in the world of sales, content marketing, consumer influence, and what he calls the art of inherent human behavior. His book, The 7 Secrets to Selling More by Selling Less, is an award-winning bestseller on Amazon. And he's been featured and interviewed on over 80 podcasts, now it's 81, and radio shows. His company, The 7 Secrets for Sales and Marketing Excellence, helps businesses of all sizes fix their messages to sell with clear copy and design. And he also helps increase sales significantly by training his proven 7 secret strategies to sales teams as well as individuals. That was hard to say, but I'm glad you're here, Allan. So
I thought it was a shorter bio than that.
it was good. There was just a lot of S's there for first thing in the morning.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, if you're listening on Facebook, let us know that you're here. Join us over at Clubhouse after this, if I can figure out how to start a room. And before, so what I want to ask you, Allan, as we kind of enter into our conversation on selling more by selling less, is what do you consider your superpower to be?
I think I realized when I got good at sales, I realized I was good at one of the things you said was listening, and really being empathetic and not and making people feel comfortable. I think that would be my superpower. People have always told me you're very easy to talk to. You listen to me. And once I realized that that was really the most important part of sales, and that's something that no one trains. They just train you how to sell. They just train you how to, sell your product no matter what. When you become the human being talking to them and the person that's listening and being empathetic and curious, I love that quote, the curiosity quote you put up there. I think that would be my, if it's called a superpower, is my ability to listen and make people feel comfortable, I think.
Was that always part of who you were, or did you kind of hone that as you got into sales?
I think it was always part of who I was, but you know how you go along in life and you start learning things about yourself that you didn't really know were there. And then you could really say, oh, wow, I'm really good at this. So I was just naturally good at sales, but what was the funny part, the actual corporate training was holding me back of becoming really good at sales. Like I was still good at it because I was doing things that I didn't realize I was doing. And the impetus for my book was my sales manager at one point told me that what I did was not trainable. He's like, you're just a field salesperson. You can't train what you do. And that actually, I credit him with making me really take an introspective look at myself and what am I doing that's different? Why am I a better salesperson? And that's when I figured all of that out. So
what's interesting is I'm hearing you talk about corporate and I know that you had a highly successful career in top salesperson for like forever. Remind me of the company.
Anderson Windows.
I knew it was Windows. I didn't want to mess that up. And so you talked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people and had to use that skill. And it worked. So I'm going to shift a little bit because probably if somebody is listening to us on Rise Above Noise group right now, they're probably a service-based professional. Many of them are either solo professionals or have a very small team or do some outsourcing. And what I say all of the time, and then I'm going to switch it a little, is if you are a coach, a consultant, an energy healer, a light worker, a creative, you have to be a marketer, because otherwise how do people, right? If marketing is really just a vehicle for people to learn about what you do, how is it that you go out and do that? So yes, so then you go out and you tell the people what you do and you bring them to you. Now, if you're a coach, a consultant, an energy healer, a creative, and you're marketing, the next logical step then is you have to be a salesperson.
100%.
So how does that translate for you? What kind of tips would you give to any of the people that I was just kind of outlining?
So you just pointed out the biggest issue that I see today from the marketing to the sales side. The combination of the two is the biggest mistake I think small companies make. They spend a lot of time figuring out how to get their name out there, how to do the marketing, how to do the Facebook, how to do everything they do. And then they don't really know how to sell the product or service once they get someone on the phone or on a Zoom. And they get intimidated. And the biggest comment I hear is, I don't want to ask for the order because I'll sound like a salesperson. And it's such an amazing thing in the world that we think that way. You know, your whole message, and I love your message, is you do some good stuff the world should know about you. So this is how you figure out to let the world know about you so you can help people. Well, still take that to the next level. You still have to tell people how to get your stuff. How do I buy this stuff? How do I, you know, what do I do? What are the next steps? So I always encourage people, just don't be afraid to ask for the order, ask for the service, ask them to do business with you, because you're not going to sound like a salesperson if you're being sincere and what you do, you believe 100% is going to help that person. So don't be afraid of saying, how do you want to get started? Or here's 3 simple steps that I have to help you get started on my, you know, my program for healing, or whatever it is that you do. The fear of sounding like a salesperson has to be put to the side so you can complete that mission of getting your stuff out there.
So I think then too, it comes down to knowing what it is you're selling. Because I know even myself, I can be very nebulous sometimes. I do this and I do that and I do this. I just worked over the weekend trying to clarify what it is I do so that I can have clarity when I speak to people.
Yeah, the exercise, it's another big issue with, well, how many times, you know, someone asks you what you do, and you're right, you're nebulous, you take 10 minutes to explain or try to explain what you do. People don't want to spend that much time trying to figure that out, because as Donald Miller says, you waste too many calories, you know, brain calories figuring that stuff out. So the exercise I have with my clients is, you need to pretend you're talking to your 8-year-old niece at a backyard picnic. And she comes up to you and she says, Aunt Susan, what do you do for work? You have to answer her in 20 seconds in a way that she'll understand it, not just 20 seconds, in a way that your 8-year-old will understand it. And then she can go tell mom what Aunt Susan does for work. To do that exercise is actually incredibly hard. Most people have a lot of trouble with it, and it takes them a few days to say, okay, because once you start, well, I do this, and all of a sudden you're at 3 minutes. Like, well, wait a minute, I didn't even say what I did yet.
Right.
So figure out how you can explain what you do to an 8-year-old in 20 seconds. If you can do that, then everyone will be clear, and you'll be memorable because everyone else is spending 10 minutes telling everybody what they do.
Yeah, we often put that post up in the Rise Above Noise group, like, what's your one-liner?
Right.
You know, who, problem, solution. And it is hard. And also people have a hard time, I've noticed, wanting to niche down. Well, I work with women. I work with women business owners. I work with mothers, right? But to really niche down. And I think that's the same thing. I want to bring it back to sales, because I don't think we talk enough about sales, especially in the Rise Above Noise group. Is there, so you know that you're offering something of value. And let's say that you've even got your products well defined so that you can speak about them. How do you, what kind of tips would you have for getting over that, like, that thing that happens in your voice when you're talking about money, or that feeling of I'm being too selly? And I know that you talked about that a little bit. What other ways can we overcome that?
It's really repetition and confidence. You have to have confidence in what you do. And I actually had, trouble, the cobbler's kids had no shoes. I had trouble myself when I first started my consulting and training business to actually, like, I had no trouble with it when I was selling windows, but now I'm doing it myself.
Yes.
So you're like, oh, am I really worth what I think I'm worth? And so let's say you want to spend, I'll pick a number. You want to charge $250 for a session. You're like, oh, is that expensive? Maybe I'll just, all right, I'll give it to him for 125. And all of a sudden you drop your price right away because you want to alleviate the anxiety you're feeling. You really have to have conviction and stick to your number. If you believe that you are worth $250 an hour, then you're worth it. And that's your price. But you have to be really, like, almost like, this is really a deal. Like, you're getting me for $250 a session. That's a really good deal. I'm not saying to say that, but that's the conviction you need to have in your voice. That's what I charge. And that's what other people have paid. And that's where the success has come from. And you'll actually come across much better than the person who dropped their price or is like at 125, because then it pushes over to perception of, well, this person's 250 a session, this person's 125. So the person who's 250 is obviously better. You may not be better, but the perception of what you're charging and your conviction behind it automatically makes them feel like you're better, and they'll hire you. But you have to have conviction. And if they say no or they can't afford it, it's okay. There are plenty of people out there that can afford your services.
Amen. We should just like sit there for a second, right? Because you see it. I see this all of the time. Somebody recently had a price up for services, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's a really, like, almost non-existent. It was so low for a whole month of services, versus other people that I've spoken with, which were probably 5 to 6 times more. And so I wondered, geez, how good could she be then if she's
Exactly.
$150 for a whole month of this versus,
right.
the $1,000, $1,200 that other people are asking. Yeah.
Right.
So, and I
And it
suppose
would
that's money
also,
mindset too.
it is. And it would also, you wonder how good she is. And then, you know what? You probably don't want the clients that she's attracting. Because if they're pinching monies or pinching pennies at the beginning, they're going to be pinching pennies throughout the course. And I've always found that the people that want to spend the money and spend what you ask are really, really good clients. The ones who try to lower your price or ask for a discount are usually the clients you want to avoid, because they become not great experiences through the whole process.
Absolutely. So true. So true. So tell us about your book. And then I think you also have an upcoming course. Is the course kind of based on your book?
Yeah, the course is based on the book. It's my 7 Secrets Master Course. It's coming up on February 16th. What's really cool about it, it's a 7-week course. So I'm following the 7-week sales philosophy from the 7 Secret Sales Philosophy in my book. But what's neat is it's not just going to be once on Tuesdays. It's going to be 60 to 90-minute sessions. But then I don't disappear for a week. You stay part of the group that is part of the class. And I have a back-end coaching platform where you'll have wins of the week. You'll have accountability. You'll have habit forming calendars, and we can keep in touch with each other during the week. I'll have office hours, for people for questions. So it's really going to be a pretty intense 7-week. How do I get from here selling to here and feeling really good about yourself doing it? Because I want you to feel great about sales as a profession. I don't want you to feel like a salesperson. And there's ways to do that. And then once you figure that out, you'll actually start selling a hell of a lot more.
And who's your course geared to?
It's geared to anyone who struggles with sales. I mean, I can have a rep for an insurance company who wants to better themselves. I can have a solopreneur, a business owner. I have a couple of companies interested in sending 2 or 3 of their reps. If you guys have a company and you have a few reps, I do offer a discount, a combo discount for people in the same company. So anybody who sells anything will benefit from the course.
How about, I know a lot of people who listen in sometimes are in sales, but it's multi-level marketing. Is that appropriate? I'm just asking because I'm not sure.
Is multi-level marketing sales? Is that what
well, network marketing. Yeah, it's the products, right? It's like Pure Haven, Beauty Counter, the essential oils. A lot of people are involved in those kinds of sales, team building sales.
I've always thought it was an interesting term, network marketing, because it really is network selling. You're selling 2 things. You're selling, if you have a downline, if you're the person who's asking people to join you as their downline, you're trying to sell them the opportunity to make money by selling the products. So the first sale is you try to get people to join you on your team. That's sale number 1. And then sale number 2, you're going to start selling those products to however many people are going to buy them. But the key with network marketing is building your team to a large size so they all can start selling things. But it's basic selling from that point. It's getting people excited what you do and asking the right questions.
I think that's true. That's awesome. And then You are a Donald Miller guide. Is that correct?
I am. I went and got certified as a Donald Miller story brand guide actually it was November of 2019 before the pandemic. I was in Nashville for that. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
really
listen
cool.
to everything. I read everything. I bought the Business Made Simple course, which is self-paced, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, it really is.
I
The
listened
proposal part of that I thought was one of the better ones. Did you watch the
Yes.
proposal writing yet?
I did. I did, and I took notes, but don't think I've implemented it fully. And now I'm listening to, of course, the email welcome nurture series stuff, because that's kind of where I spend a lot of my time, is helping people create that whole sequence. And
Yeah.
it's nice to have a templated idea so that you don't have to say, well, what'll I say now? Right. To know
Right.
that it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, or 1, 2,
Right.
3, 4, 5 here, and to know really what you're going to be doing.
Right. Yeah, it was a great course because it really kind of completely rounded me out, because I did marketing prior to that, and you know, my bailiwick is sales though. But to, you know, what happens is I'll be doing a sales training for a company or for even an individual, and then inevitably it'll go over to, well, can you help me with my website, or can you look at my marketing and see what I'm doing there? So I really wanted to make sure I was spot on with that, and I don't think I could have chose a better course, because it was really, you know, I'm actually going to do a course coming up on proposals, just on proposals.
Oh, really?
Based on the Donald Miller thing. Yeah. So it's,
well, what's one takeaway that you had from the proposals part of it all?
Everyone starts their proposals talking about their company. That should be your last page of your proposal. First page of your proposal should be about the customer. It's about them. Just like your about section in LinkedIn, it's not about you, it's about your customer and what their problems are and how you can solve them.
So if you guys haven't checked out Allan Langer yet on LinkedIn, I was looking at it this morning to try to get some more information for our talk today. And I noticed his about section, and I made a note in my little planner that said, use Allan's LinkedIn profile as a template. It was so good. Who do I work with, and what happens after you work with me? It was so clear. And I would imagine that would be the same thing as any of your landing pages that you're making for upcoming workshops, or your about page for your website, or your sign up form for anything that's coming up. It's just, again, not about you, even though it is. It's about who is scrolling through and has to find themselves, so that they stop long enough to read it.
Exactly. Yeah. Your profile is like, you know, your picture, your profile as a little mini website for you through LinkedIn, because that's really what it is. You don't want people to find you on your website. You want people to find you in social media, which will then send them to your website. That's going to be the affinity that you build when they get to your website, because that's going to be their second step. The couple of mistakes that companies make and individuals make is they try to get people to their website first, but that's not going to, there's no affinity built there. There's no, I don't know who this person is. You're just on my website. Whereas if you follow me on LinkedIn, you follow my content, you follow me on TikTok now and Instagram, you know what, I'm going to go check his website. And then you get to the website, and then hopefully you've got a customer at that point, or a potential client. But check out, I just put up Ping and Pong again this morning. I don't know if you saw it yet, Susan.
I did see it. I didn't open it, but I saw the little mice up in the attic having a networking event.
Yeah, they're having a networking event, and it's actually an interesting, you know, we're talking about the same thing. Is the biggest mistake companies make is they start talking about themselves in their copy, in their website, on their about section. And at networking events, what do? I'm an electrician. Yeah, there's 100 electricians. What do you do? Well, you know, when your fuse blows in your house because your daughter put the hairdryer on, I'm the guy that can come over the next day and fix that. I'm an electrician. What electrician are you going to hire in that scenario if they met 5 of them and that one guy said that? Right. You're going to hire him because you started with the problem yourself.
And you're going to refer him to others.
Exactly.
And so now we've come full circle, but before we go back to full circle of listening and curiosity, I want to ask you, Robert's question is, can you explain the basic difference between marketing and sales?
Yeah, marketing is getting people to the front door. Sales is inviting them in and to enjoy your house. That's how that would be the analogy I use. You know, they have to work together. You know, if you have your marketing team doing stuff and the sales team doesn't like it, or they don't talk, or the sales team is not following what the marketing team puts out, then your company is the loser because you look disjointed and not clear. It needs to be a very smooth transition. Here's your marketing. I really like this guy's content. I like what he's saying. Get onto a call, and then you continue that to the point of asking for them to be a customer of yours.
Awesome. So I'm popping in a topic now. We'll hop over to Clubhouse if anyone wants to join us there. I put an invite too for the play don't pause people to join us over there just for something fun and to try to, this will be my first room. So thanks for playing along, Allan.
I'm gonna just so you know, my daughter I have to go on my iPad, so I have to check if she even has it or if it's charged. So if I don't show up, that's the reason. So I'll show up if I can. Oh,
but before you do, hold up your mug again with the elephant on there and go ahead and tell us what that is.
So my daughter and I started a nonprofit. It's elepa.org, ELEPA, and we raise money to help stop poaching across the world. And we have cool merchandise and ways to join or donate. And it's one of my proudest achievements from 2020. So check it out.
It's a beautiful website and lots of great products for a really great cause. And all of it is so good. I know a lot of people have been shouting it out and spreading the word.
Yeah,
so good for you guys.
It's been fun. It really has. And my little 12-year-old CEO is on top of it. So
awesome. All right. I'm going to put all of your links in the Rise Above Noise group so that people can find you. Find them on LinkedIn. Super easy to find. 7 Secrets, Allan Langer. And we'll see you guys over on Clubhouse, I hope.
Okay. I'll do my best. I'm going to go get the iPad right now. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, Allan. See you soon.
Pleasure. Bye now.